Welcome everyone again to another edition of Chequamegon Chat. We're here again at the Chequamegon Veterans Center with myself, Jason Janicek, commander of the VFW Pool 690 here, and with my co-host,
Walter Gursky, Vice Commander of Sons of the American Legion, Squadron 90.
right. And we're here with another special guest. We have Renee Simpson, past state commander for the Wisconsin VFW, is joining us here tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming all the way up, enjoying the weather. Been a long night. We had a lot of things going on tonight. We appreciate you coming up and stopping up here, but just a few things to kind of share a little bit about you with our many viewers out there.
Well, first you want to tell us a little bit about your military background and where you got your eligibility for VFW?
So I joined the Army in 1993 and was able to go to Bosnia in 1997 with the 108th Military Police Company out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and that is where I earned my eligibility into the VFW.
Okay. So, what specifically brought you to join the VFW?
Actually, it was a couple of co-workers that said they needed a quartermaster at the post, and so I signed up, and that's how it all started almost 20 years ago now.
20 years ago. That's
Well,
sorry. Go ahead, Walter.
I was saying now, so about half that time ago, I noticed you have that year on your hat, Jason, and I'm going to assume it's out for a reason.
Oh yeah, this is Well, this is just our in the VFW. When you get like specific positions, you get special hats. And one year I was nominated for what they call a National Aide de Camp, and that just happened to be out here for that year. But there was something specific in 2013-14, though I can't remember. Do you remember what was special about 2013-14?
Really? That was the year that I was elected the first female state commander of the Veterans of Foreign Wars in Wisconsin.
I knew there was something special about that year and stuff like that. So 2013, that was the first female commander of any state veteran service organization. Am I correct?
No.
Okay, I'm wrong. Okay, well.
The American Legion already had Denise.
Denise Rohan.
Yep. So, no, but I was the first for the state.
Okay. And Denise went on to be the national commander of the American
first
Legion.
female, yep.
And VFW has not had a national female commander yet.
Not as of yet, but we will shortly.
Yeah, because we have a junior vice coming up.
Next year's junior vice will be
Iowa.
female from Iowa, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That's still I'm going to tangent here a little bit, but that's still a long process because she was campaigning, 2 years ago already?
Yes.
And stuff like that. Whitmore, I can't remember her first name.
Carol Whitmore.
Carol Whitmore, yes,
Yep.
yes. I met her a few times and stuff like that.
Very
But
nice.
yes, no, I remember that year. Because obviously that was the year I got the aide de camp, and it was because you were the senior under
Woody Woodworth.
Woody Woodworth.
Yep.
And it was your senior year that we did that command tour at Fort McCoy.
Correct.
Yes, I remember that. I just remember that now because we haven't been able to repeat that since because part pieces haven't fallen into place. But I do remember that because he was a Navy guy.
Yes.
Yes, and I remember it was almost like some of the getting a tour of the Army base. But no, that was a fun time. That was a summer camp there, the 32nd Brigade, the Red Arrow.
The brigade,
And,
absolutely.
But no, I remember we stopped at, I forgot who led us around, but I remember we went to a couple of the ranges.
I don't remember either.
I know we stopped at the range where they're firing the Barrett 50s,
Yep,
I think. Then we went to a medical simulator.
we did.
Did I do that? I don't remember.
Yes, we did. Well, we went to the field hospital that they had set up there.
Okay, that was a long time ago.
It was.
No, that was
It was a bit
a
ago.
that was a good time. Something that I'd like to try to do again with the VFW State Command, but it's just been hard to get some of the pieces in place. But that year that you served as the first female state commander, I mean that obviously I'm sure there's always challenges in running the state command and stuff. What were some of the things that motivated you to run for state commander?
I think the biggest thing for me was just to show that it didn't matter what your age was. We all were in the military, we all took on roles of leadership, so it was important for me to get out there and say, you can do it. It doesn't matter how old you are, your sex, your race, your religion, any of that. It didn't matter. What was more important was to show that we all have something to contribute and we shouldn't have to wait until the only thing that is in our life is just our veterans organizations, to show how our families can be an intricate part of what's going on, and to bring the family back in to the Veterans of Foreign Wars.
Okay. Well,
So, what are some of the lessons that you learned during your tenure as state commander?
I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned, but I think the biggest part of it is truly understanding the demographic of everywhere that you encounter. Every post has something different that goes on. So what is seemingly easy on this side of the state is not so easy on that side. So just saying that here's the programs, everyone should not have a problem with doing them. Sometimes there are challenges, and some of it's geographical, some of it's just the demographic of the post. So there's certain things that you have to take into consideration, and how can we tweak those programs to be effective for each post so that they can be successful. I think that is the biggest hurdle that any of us ever encounter as state commanders.
Okay. So, and then, did you want to talk a little bit about the work you do for women's veterans and She Who Served?
So the She Serves campaign started many, many moons ago. We stood that up way before I even became in the state chairs. So this was a national initiative basically to help promote women veterans in the veterans organizations in the community. The biggest thing for us was to show support for one another, but also help them be educated on the different things that are available to them, whether it's through veterans organizations or through the Veterans Affairs system. So it was important for us to get out there and help campaign and show them that this is what it's about. What you may have thought before is not the case. So that was another reason for the importance of me actually starting to go through those chairs, was to show that it doesn't matter, we have something to contribute. And we shouldn't just have to be in the back of the scene, to be effective. We can be out there and we can be just as good as anybody else. And showing that solidarity with other women across the country, we really started to build one another up into taking on other roles of responsibility, which just kind of escalated to others. And others went, oh my goodness, even Michelle Rathke, our current state commander, as I was going through the chairs, that was her thing. She was very impressed with that and what I was doing and where I was going, and that pushed her to do better in her own post, to do more and to start going through those chairs herself. So if it's anything, it's just showing that support and making sure that we are there for one another and help them understand the processes that they might be struggling with.
Okay.
and it's definitely, like I said, you're the groundbreaker, because we've had, Michelle is our third female state commander, and we have, I guess, another one moving up the chair that's in line to be senior vice this year. So, which traditionally that means that 2020, summer 2024, we'll have our fourth female state commander since you were first elected, and stuff like that. So good. We talked a little bit earlier tonight about recruiting, because obviously that's a big thing in the VFW, because we need numbers to survive, and we need numbers to be effective. I know our state adjutant was talking earlier this year about testifying in front of the legislature, and I know we talked to Michelle about this a little bit too, and that's how numbers are important, because you have to have a strong organization or you're not effective as a lobbying force. When it comes to recruiting, I shared with you the two hardest groups that I have are like the Vietnam veterans, if they're not already in the organization, are hard to recruit, and recent conflict vets that are under 40. What's one of your techniques that you found successful for some of those hard to entice recruits in?
I think the biggest thing for everybody to understand is that you have to tell them, you have to educate them about what we are doing and what your expectations truly are. Today's world, we are so crazy busy. Kids are going in 100 different directions. Parents are too. What can we give them that's going to entice them to be a part of it? And I think a lot of the struggle is that some of us have been doing roles continuously for so many years that we're getting kind of burnt out. So when we get somebody new in, we want to just, we want to get on top of that and be like, oh, you're going to take over this. The biggest thing to do when you're trying to recruit is your opinion matters. The future of the organization is based on what you can bring to us, just as much as what we can bring to you. The Vietnam veterans, they had a struggle when they came back from Vietnam. No one can ever take that away from them. The way they were treated and so on and so forth by just everyday citizens and other veterans. The biggest thing for me is I want to educate them on what is available to them, the benefits that they might have, the compensation that they've earned, making sure that they understand those things. Through that educational process, at times you will actually have them come into the fold. Sometimes it takes a lot of work to get to that point, but once you get there, they appreciate that you didn't just go, all you cared about was the number. You've shown that you care about me. And that's just as important about our current conflict veterans as well. They have a lot on their plate. Everybody is always pulling them in 100 different directions. Not, our kids are no exception. But with the ability to say, we can do virtual meetings, you can be a part of it. Do you like to write articles about certain things? Things like what you're doing here with the historical factor of everything up in your little neck of the woods, that is something that they can contribute to, whether it's an article or they like putting newsletters together or they like doing things on Facebook. It's finding that niche where they may not be able to physically be there. That appeals to a lot of them because they do have those things that they can do, and they can do it at any time of the day or night. But the other thing is also to educate them about the different things, such as the Compact Act, the PACT Act, those different things that have come into legislation that have passed that can help them improve their quality of life and their families as well. So it's truly an educational process, and you have to take the steps and keep going. Because if you're only trying to recruit the person, you're going to lose the person. The most important thing that you can do is that continued education, which it'll take the 101st time that you tell them something, that it's all going to click together, and they're going to be like, yeah, I want to be a part of that. And I've had current conflict veterans that I've literally for years been after them, and I just keep telling them about stuff we're doing, and I help their National Guard units with stuff and whatnot, and then after a while they're like, you know what, I like what I'm seeing, I like what you do, I would like to be a part of that. So there's no quick answer for that. Yeah. It takes time.
No, it does. And that's kind of what I said too. That what I tell other people, you have to have a product that people want to be a part of. You have to have something that says, I see this post, I want to be a part of that. That's why posts that are getting out and stuff are so important. I had a comment recently told to me by a first sergeant of mine, an NCO that I had been with, and he was trying to recruit. He's very active in his area's honor guard, and there is some stuff about a recent passings from people and that we had known, and that was his pitch to our younger crowd was, the younger veterans need to get involved because at some point in time, it's the honor guard portion, The veterans that are passing get that, and at some point in time, they're going to get that same military honors. And if we don't recruit members, we're not going to have honor guards to do that anymore. So, and me personally, that's the most important of all the programs we do. The honor guard military funeral is the most important thing that we do of all the programs we do. That to me personally, just because it's so important to the families. And but getting off on a tangent here, I was trying to lead into you're talking about some of the programs and stuff. If you had to sell one or talk about one program in the VFW right now that means a lot to you and is one of the most important things they do, I think what would you say is one of our top programs?
I think the top program that we truly have is our service office. And the reason for that, it is the foundation of why we exist. Without that service office and their ability to take care of veterans and their families and to help them receive the benefits and compensation that they deserve, then we are not fulfilling our mission statement. If you go back to that charter and you look at how we wrote it up and approached Congress and Congress approved, that service office is the core of what we do. And it is more important than ever that we make sure that we are getting out there to educate the masses. however it might be through your videos, whatever, it might be newspaper articles. It is very important for us to be putting that information out because the the VA itself can be putting that information out. But unfortunately, a lot of people say, it doesn't really pertain to me. So they don't pay attention to it. So we have to be going, did you know? Did you know? It's a constant game of did you know? And that's what's most important about what we do. It really isn't the numbers. It isn't about, we've got thousands upon thousands of people and we're going to keep getting more and more and we're going to get over 100%. The bottom line is our success is truly counted on by the veteran that we take care of and the family that is taken care of when that veteran passes. That really counts our success, because in that success we will get the membership because they'll remember that. So I think in all, if we can do that true educational process and really understand what it is we are really selling, and that is a better quality of life for our veterans and their families, then I think the Veterans of Foreign Wars will be successful for hundreds of years to come.
And I think we're gonna move on to a few little lighter questions and stuff, a little bit, but fast. You can't think about these.
Can't think about it.
So you got 2 seconds, whatever comes to your head. So
Okay.
Simple stuff. Simple stuff. So we'll start with Walter.
All right, favorite movie?
Memphis Belle.
Okay. And name the last book that you read that you sat back and said, wow, that was a good book.
I just totally lost the name. The general that was the POW that came to state convention.
That did those, he wrote that book of poetry.
Yes, I just totally lost the name of that.
So do I. I can picture it. Somebody
I
showing
can
it
too.
on.
I did, yeah.
What you're talking about, U.S. Air Force general. He was how long was he a prisoner?
Like 6
Yes.
years, 6.5 years.
Yes. And
And I remember the most thing that I can remember for that whole conversation, other than he had some really great one-liners, was when he got rescued and he got back to the States, and first thing he did in his robe, I believe he said, is he went into the PX and bought a recorder so that he could start recording all the poems that he was making everybody memorize. Well, taps on the wall.
Yep.
Taps
Yep.
on the wall.
Yep.
There we go.
There you go. No, I have that because I actually had because he stood there and signed those last.
Yes.
Summer French. Another good reason to go to state conventions if you're a VFW member.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. Renee Simpson's driving down the highway. What's the song comes on the radio? What song is going to cause you to instantly turn that volume up and just start belting it out?
Oh, that's a hard one. There's a lot of them. Roller Coaster by the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Okay. Not my genre, but I'll go.
It was one of those songs that while I was deployed, it would come on and we'd be in the aid station and we'd just have to crank it up and have some fun with it. So that was just one of those songs that we had a lot of fun with.
Okay.
So.
Also, do you have anything?
Nope, that's about it.
Okay. Well, we're going to throw you in the spot one more time.
Okay.
Because we're both of us are primarily history people and stuff like that. Mostly the podcast are history stuff. So, what era of history fascinates you the most?
I think right now I am into the brigade's history. With my job and being across from the 32nd Brigade building, I have really dug into the existence of the 32nd and learning how, Old Abe was actually part of the 128 and how they became the Big Eagle Battalion was because of Old Abe and the Civil War and all of that. So it's kind of just been wrapping around that whole 32nd demographic and how they became who they've become and that rich history that they have and how people are just so loyal and dedicated. I mean, even yourself, you're retired, so, but it's the brigade.
Yep.
But it is very notable and it's very recognizable. And people, when you talk about the 32nd Brigade, people know what that is. And the opportunity for me to take that history of the base that's right there across from an elementary school and be able to go and talk to fifth graders about the different things that the 32nd has done, how the base even began and all that. It's a lot of fun for me. So I find myself just kind of keep digging into that 30-second history and the different companies and how they became created and the battalions that they become. That's been pretty phenomenal.
I can throw out too, actually, just as a connection to that too. I mean, I'm eligible for Sons of the American Legion through my two grandfathers, both of whom served in the 32nd at the same time. And actually for a while, even my dad was in there too.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, there's a lot of history with just almost anybody, I think, from Wisconsin, Michigan has probably got some connection there. I mean, it's really heavily ingrained into the
And
cultural memory.
Michigan has a battalion again.
Yeah.
They
the
stood up a
126.
battalion,
Yep.
and we're talking about female first, and I think the first, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the first female infantry officers were in the 126, in the Michigan portion of 32nd. I think.
No, actually, we had some female officers in the 128.
Infantry officers?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, because I remember, in Michigan, maybe it was the first ones in Michigan.
That
I
could
remember,
very
I remember
well
they
be.
did a press
Yeah.
release where the
Yeah.
feast, and I thought the press release was the first female combat arms officers in the, but they must have just been their battalion. But that was the 126 that was stood up.
Yep. Yep.
And yet we just this weekend alone, we were coming up from Milwaukee, and I made my wife, we actually left Racine, and we took one of the state highways up on the internet. It was Highway 32, and every single state highway sign has those red arrows on them.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But and we brought up the red arrow last week when we were talking about the Badado Manila, because obviously who took
Yes.
General Yamashita's surrender
Yes.
was the 32nd Division and
Yes.
stuff like that. No, there's a lot to like about the 32nd Division, and you're not gonna. And that's probably a pretty safe answer in
Yes.
this state and stuff. But no, I know it's been a long day, and you're tired. You probably want to go crash because
I'm ready.
This is what, your second VFW event today?
Yes, it is.
What district were you at?
District 11, my district.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that was still kind of that central
Oh yeah,
ish part of the state.
Yeah, it was
Lacrosse, so that's a
lacrosse,
little
yeah.
drive up here.
Yeah, for sure.
So, well, I hope you enjoyed your very brief, quick stay
I
in
did.
Ashland. We thank you for coming up, and I think that's about it.
All right.
See you guys
Well,
next
have a
time.
good night.
Thank you.